What's up guys, Jay here and welcome back to number 3 of 15 videos this December. Today I'm going to talk about the question how to cope with anxiety. So first off, I am going to tell you what helped me get better because I used to be depressed. I used to be depressed for 8 years back in school because I was bullied just for the person that I am. Had like this big target on my back for whatever reason, and I started to believe what other people were saying about me, and I started to hate myself. I started to get depressed to the point where I actually thought about suicide. But I'm here, I'm better, and I'm not depressed anymore. A lot of people look at depression as something that once you get it, it'll never leave again. It's like, it seems like this endless cycle of feeling bad, and that's just not true. I have to say though, it's all about what you believe. So if you believe you can never get through depression and out of depression, you're right. And if you believe that you can get out of depression, that it's something that's curable, that you can live your greatest life, the life you actually deserve, then that's true as well. What is depression? Depression or depressed spells out into deep rest. You're in deep rest. You're tired of everything that's going on. You don't have any energy anymore for the life that you are currently living. And when you're depressed, one of the most favorite things to do, which was one of my favorite things to do, was to stay home and do nothing. I was in my room for 23 to 24 hours a day. That's a lot. It's too much. What I would definitely recommend and what helped me a lot was go out into nature. Even if you're living in a big city, if there's like a park in your city, even if if there are just some trees, go sit underneath them. Go outside and breathe fresh air. It is so important. Because what I realized when I was out in nature was there's a whole nother world than the one my head was stuck in. My head was stuck in this world of society has this view on who you should be. Society has all these stereotypes. I don't fit in any of these stereotypes. That's why I'm lonely. That's why I don't have any friends. It just goes on and on. You circle around it all the time. It just looks like you're never gonna get out of it. And then I was like, you know what? Let's just go outside. And there was nothing but nature and animals, birds. You know, just sit there. Like when you just sit there and watch birds, you feel so free. Just observing nature, being mindful in nature, takes your mind off of everything else that's going on. Also, another thing, realize that at any time you can choose positive thoughts. At any time you can choose to think a positive thought right now. Because when you think of something positive, you don't have time to think of something negative. You can only ever really think and engage with one thought. What you've learned, what has become a habit to you, is negative thinking. So it just comes to you naturally because you're used to it by now. And maybe you even turned those thoughts, those habits, into beliefs about yourself that actually aren't true. So just know that right now you can choose a positive thought. Right now you can be grateful for little things, because the little things, for me, made the big difference. Because when you're depressed, there's not a lot of things that you find positive. So whatever it is, be it your favorite TV show, be it a song, be it your favorite food, nature, animals, whatever, as small as it seems, hold on to it. And think about those positive things that actually make life worth living for you more than you engage with your negative thoughts. Try this. Whenever you catch yourself thinking a negative thought, tell yourself stop and choose to think a positive thought. To be honest, at first it's going to be quite hard because you're just so used to thinking a negative thought, but when you practice it, you get better at it, and then positive thinking becomes a habit, and eventually the things you tell yourself, those positive things, they're gonna become the things that you believe. They're gonna replace the negative ones. Also, what really helped me was writing, obviously. I mean, I write for my channel, the audios, but back then writing was always a great way for me to just let things out because I didn't really have anybody to talk to. Make memos on your phone if you actually feel like talking. Also, don't be afraid to get help. It takes a whole lot of courage and strength to go out and get help, and if that's what you need, if that's what makes you feel better, don't be afraid to do that, okay? I went to therapists and it has helped. It did. Especially for me, especially with anxiety, it has helped to just talk to somebody. But whatever's going on in your life, if you're depressed, if you feel like you can't talk to anybody in your family, with your friends, it's okay to seek help. Professional help. But as I said in the beginning, we want to heal the root cause of this. So I'm gonna give you my personal example. I was depressed because I got bullied. I got death threats because I was just being myself. And people talked and thought about me in a negative way. So eventually I believed what people were saying about me, how they saw me, and I started seeing myself in that light. I made their words my own, and that became my reality. I started to hate myself. So what does that show me? That I didn't have a lot of self-worth, that I didn't have any self-confidence. The words they were saying, those are their words. They never were my own until I made them my own, because I didn't have any self-worth or self-confidence to stand up for myself. I said this in the first video that I made of this series because it is about self-love. Also talked about it in the second one, which was about relationships and the role self-love plays in relationships. But you can take away something from all of these videos. Back then, when I didn't have anybody, I should have been my own best friend. I should have been the one to pep talk me, to tell me that it's going to be okay, instead of taking the words other people were saying and telling them myself. Because I started taking those words, I started talking to myself negatively. Over a certain period of time, it became a habit until it became a belief. And I believed I deserved to die because I don't fit the typical stereotype of a girl in this world. Actually, what my depression was trying to show me, or the root cause of my depression, was the lack of self-worth. Because I should have been the one to be like, it doesn't matter what anybody says, because I am great the way I am. I was born magnificent, and so are you. We are our own biggest critics. We are, or we tend to be, quite hard on ourselves, especially when we hear negative things about ourselves from other people. So how can I now heal this depression? How can I now heal the cause, now that I know what it is trying to actually show me? Because that's the thing, don't ever ask, why is this happening to me? Whatever it is, ask, what is this trying to show me? Number one thing, when you've let people walk all over you, when you believed the words others were saying about you, when you started to tell yourself those words, the number one thing you have to do is forgive. Forgiveness is just so important. It's, if you ask me, the first thing to work on. Forgiveness doesn't happen like that. It takes time, just like everything else. The entire healing process takes time, effort, and patience. But forgiveness is so important because you have to make peace with whatever happened and accept that it is now in the past. Especially when it comes to bullying, like in my case, I had to accept an apology I never received. And it started with telling myself that they didn't know any better, because they didn't. People always react out of what's going on inside of them. And those people who talked like that about me, who treated me that way, probably don't like themselves any more than they liked me. So much love to them. But that's the first thing. Eventually, I knew that they just didn't know any better. They probably don't even like themselves. There are so many reasons why they did this to me, but it's not personal. Has nothing to do with me. So I knew that, but I didn't believe it at first. That's also why when you tell yourself positive things, you can feel resistance inside yourself because you don't believe it yet. First, you have to make yourself think the positive alternative until it becomes a habit, until it becomes a belief. Habits are formed within 21 days, just as a little reminder, so keep at it. I had to tell myself over and over and over and over again that they didn't know any better until I eventually believed it. And I was okay with that, and there was no emotional charge left to what these people had done to me in the past. Next, I had to do the same thing with myself because I made myself suffer more than I had to by taking their words, making them my own, and believing them for 8 years. The same thing you have to do with yourself. And this works great if you stand in front of a mirror to just be like, it's okay, I forgive you because you didn't know any better. And that's where healing starts. Now you know that everybody involved didn't know any better. And you're working on accepting that fact and eventually actually forgiving yourself and everybody involved. And once you get to forgiving, where actually everything is forgiven, where there's no emotional charge left to any of it, that's when you can really, really work on the missing self-worth, the missing self-confidence, and whatnot. Because you don't want to hold on to that baggage anymore. Let the baggage go, and then you're ready to work. And then, just like with any other relationship, but this one is especially intense because you're 24/7 with yourself. Like it is with every relationship, it's baby steps. It takes patience. So don't be too hard on yourself, okay? At first, just really start doing things for yourself, be it going for walks, doing something for your body in that case, or just breathing fresh air because you spent so much time in your little safe zone at home, be it your room or whatever. And in my case, it was my room. Or cooking yourself a nice meal. All these things. Take care of yourself and start talking positively about yourself. Because again, you have the choice to choose the positive thought. But it's a process. Sometimes you feel like you're taking 2 steps back and you're only making 1 step forward, but trust me, it's all part of it and you're going to get better if you believe. I promise you 110% you can make it out of depression, through and out of depression, if you believe so yourself. And on that, you can totally work on. It is changeable. It is. Because I'm here today and I'm not depressed. I love life. I want to be here. I love myself and I want to create the life that I know I deserve and I know I have the power to. So just as somebody who's been through it, who used to be suicidal, it is possible and I know you can do it because that potential to make it through it and all the energy you have to come up with to go through it, you have it inside of you. I know it. So I hope that helps. I hope I was able to make you think about this a little bit. I know depression impacts a lot of people. A lot of people go through depression in their life, maybe currently right now. So if this was able to help you in whatever way, then that's awesome. That's all I wanted to do. So thank you guys so much once again for watching, and I'll see you in video number 4.